huge chunk of ANC's support, and it diverted that towards the MK party. Hence, we've seen now the party being the largest in KZN and amongst the top three in the country in terms of size.
At national level, we've seen the drama that has happened because now we don't have an outright winner. Tell us more about, in your views, about what you've picked up in terms of how the DA has behaved in terms of the negotiations, and we've seen that drama, man. Take us through that drama and your takeaways and what perhaps in your views could have gone better in terms of how that process could have been handled by the ANC
At national
at
level,
national level. Yes.
oh, well, at national level, when it became apparent that the NC has lost the election in the sense that it did not have 50 plus 1% of votes, it invited parties to join the government of national unity, and there was a statement of intent that was signed by those joining. So, in terms of drama, I would say maybe in the Gauteng provincial legislature, because I think it was really,
Yeah.
um, yes, well, maybe just going back to the government of national unity. I mean, the negotiations really dragged, I think, for more than 2 weeks, where
Yes.
the markets were jittery, and also the public as well were waiting for news of who's going to be part of this
Cabinet.
cabinet exactly.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, I think what the people want is service delivery. So the
Yes.
delays
Absolutely.
really contributed to whether this GNU is going to be sustainable, in the long run. But we have seen all political parties that are part of this GNU coming together. They took their oaths of office, and now I think it's really time for them to put their shoulders to the wheel and deliver services to the people of South Africa. But we know that there's gonna be a cabinet from next week, Thursday and Friday, where the government will try to sort of collate all the different manifestos of these political parties in the GNU to come up with one policy document that will basically guide South Africa in the next 5 years.
Yeah, to the viewers, please make sure that you press the like button, and you also subscribe, because it will give us the indication that you like the topics that we're talking about. Let's change gears slightly. Before we do that, let's talk about the EFF, man. I'm sure the EFF has been one of parties who have been growing strongly. I think people expected it to be at national level, in my view. What's your take on that? To be included in the cabinet there?
I think the EFF's demands were pretty simple. They said that they are prepared to be part of the GNU, provided that the ANC does not work with the DA and the Freedom Front Plus.
Yes.
On the other hand, Zile's DA had said that the EFF, MK Party, and Patriotic Alliance should not be part of the GNU, saying that the coalition, or what's the word that they used, doomsday coalition should
Yes.
be avoided at all costs.
Yes.
So I think the ANC decided that no, they will basically go with the DA, EFF, Freedom Front Plus, and the other political parties. So that's how the EFF, was excluded from the GNU, because I guess the ANC could not, agree or accede to their demands.
I think on the DA, I think people felt, I felt where I was sitting, that the ANC, whatever could have happened in terms of the negotiations, they were really wanting to to work with the DA. So whatever the DA were throwing towards them, it felt like they would try in their best to make it work with the DA. And I think it was also, made it clear by the EFF that it feels like I saw some of the leaders of the EFF on social media saying that the ANC is going all out to make sure it accommodates the DA. Did you also feel like that, or you've got different views on that?
I feel that the ANC could have constituted GNU without the DA and the FF, in as much as they felt that they could go and pronounce a cabinet without the EFF. So I do not know what led to the ANC feeling that it's better to go to bed with the DA. But you recall that, in days leading up to this announcement of the provincial cabinet, the markets seemed to favor, a DA ANC pact, saying that it's going to be good for the markets and all that. And this led to um, public outcry from other quarters who felt that no, this is now a question of the markets versus the people. So based on those factors, the ANC felt it best to jump into bed with the DA and to the exclusion of the EFF in government.
Yeah, let's now jump to the EFF. For me, now the EFF find itself, behind the MK in terms of the charts. How, in your views, is that going to affect its growth moving forward? Is it going to discourage their supporters to say, over the past 10 years, we've worked hard, we should probably be number 2, but we now find ourselves number 4? Are the 2024 election results going to hamper the EFF's growth moving forward, or they'll say, look, we're going to go back to the drawing boards and see where where we got it wrong and try to fix it moving forward?
Not at all, and I think this was explained by Mr. Malema at the IEC Rock when it became apparent that they had lost a sizable number of votes to Zuma's MK, saying that in the previous election they had about 350,000 votes from KZN, and they were surprised with where those votes coming from. And now it became clear after the 24 election that those were actually Zuma's supporters who basically went back home, if I can use that
that language.
that language exactly. So I don't think in any way it's going to affect the EFF's growth trajectory going forward, because those were borrowed votes in any case, according to Mr. Malema.
Yeah. Take us to the recent one, my brother, to Gauteng government. It's quite a different setup compared to what we've seen at national level when it comes to forming government. I think Panyaza Sufi stood his ground and took a different route compared to what President